Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about very important topic. The topic is about how we can make our language inputs to the ChatGPT or any chat language model, how we can improve it. We call it language models, how we can enhance the output quality and get better result. Along with that, you also save a lot of time so that you don't have to type, read the answer, evaluate whether it's good or bad. When you go through it, and then you again rephrase your questions and you retype it again. That process takes a lot of time. It's engaging, that's why you might not feel it's taking a long time. However, it does take a long time if you reflect on how have you been interacting with it. It's very time consuming process. So today we are going to learn what is prompt priming. It has helped me a lot to writing a content, interacting with the different subjects and topics. When I deal with it, I saved a lot of time and my results are very good. So here I'm ready to share and explore more. Today's agenda items would be introducing the prompt priming. The next one we will discuss about how the prompt priming mechanism is about the language models, advantages of using prompt priming, examples of a prompt priming, and the practical application and future uses. That is about that how it is going to shape in the future. Let's start. First of all, let's introduce the what is prompt priming. So here you need to understand the prompt priming is to structuring the prompt in a strategic way wherein you provide the input to get the enhanced result, and the quality of a result is actually better than the non-specific questions. And you can optimize the language model outputs by providing the prompt priming aligns input prompts with the training data and capabilities to the language model, leading to improved outputs. Prompt priming refers to the practice of structuring input prompts in a way that optimally guides language model to generate high-quality responses. It involves crafting prompts that align with the model's training data and capabilities. So this is what about the concept of a prompt priming. Basically, when you are dealing with the language, you should factor in a few things and then you can give the answer. Okay, let's move next. What is the historical context on the development? So let's talk about it before we go forward. The concept of prompt priming has evolved alongside advancements in natural language processing. Initially, basic prompts were used, but as model became more sophisticated, so did the techniques of priming them effectively. So evolution has taken place along with the large language models. That's what pretty much it about. So if we talk a bit more about the historical context and development, you will see that development of a prompt priming reflects the evolution of a natural language processing techniques over the years. Techniques for effective priming. The techniques for priming models have become increasingly complex, improving the overall improvement the language models. Importance in natural language processing (NLP). Understanding prompt priming is important. Why? Because prompt priming involves the strategic framing of questions or statements that can significantly enhance model performance. And the impact on this clarity could be effective prompt priming involves the clarity of response generated by language models, making information easier to comprehend. Relevance and accuracy, if we talk about that, then properly designed prompts enhance the relevance and accuracy of your outputs, ensuring that they align with the user intent. So rather than writing the open-ended question, if you would provide the close-ended question, your language model will give you a specific answer. But if you give some better detail, it will give you better detail in your questions. That's the priming is. Priming is like you are giving them the clue what you are talking about, what you are trying to get the answer. Okay, so now let's learn the mechanism of a prompt priming in language models. So if we talk about how prompt priming works in language models, first understand the prompt priming. The prompt priming is a technique used to enhance response from the language models so that you can give those clues to the model for which it will activate the pathways for that models. For an example, if you're talking about math, use the word map. If you're using for the science, use the science. If you're writing about something, use the word write or the subject, and then you give them the background ideas. Okay, you are talking about that, so that your answer will be more enhanced. Role of a context and specificity in prompts is absolutely crucial. So if you are using a prime technique to improve the ChatGPT response, or for that matter any language models, then providing the specific need is absolutely important. If you're providing that and then you are putting into the chat, you will see there's drastic difference in the answers. As we go through, we will see the 5 different examples so that you would have a grasp that how we can construct very simple yet powerful priming based questions to the ChatGPTs. One of the best thing which priming can help you with, it will give you the less clueless result. You must have often seen that there are circumstances, there are different situations where in ChatGPT gives you answers that you never desired for, you never asked for, and it gives you the erroneous result. So if you want to reduce that, that's where it also helps you, because model is trained on a certain data. You're asking about the specific information. When you provide the details about those information, that language model is not cluelessly searching here and there and building the logic and giving you the answer. Rather, it's going through the details where it's trained on, because in your priming you have given that information. For based on that, the pathways would be activated and it will give you the most accurate result. Though AI generated results, we can't 100% say that it always give the absolutely 100% perfect result, but close to perfect you can at least think of it from that direction. So you will see reduced errors in the results when you are using the priming. So when you are writing a prompt with the priming information in it and then you get the responses, those responses are always contextual and appropriate. That's why the priming is important, and whatever you want, you get that answer. You, rather than getting the clueless answer, you read it, you refine your question, and then you write it again. So it's not like that. It's like you are giving them the context when you're writing the question. It gives you the answer and it becomes more appropriate and relative what you're looking for. That's why it's important to use the priming in your chat. So as you use the priming and get used to writing the questions around that, since answers are more relevant, you also get encouraged, you feel satisfactory to use these chatbots. I'm not specifically asking only the ChatGPT, though I'm using ChatGPT primarily. However, you can use any chatbot. Almost all the chatbots trained in the same way, so that when you would put the priming information, you get the result along with that. Nowadays you can use the reasons in different web search and different options. Based on that, your results would be a bit different. However, these priming informations are going to give you more appropriate and contextual results to yourself. So if you're using the next time the ChatGPT, try using it. It's not that very hard, but it's very simple to use. But it's just that you need to keep in mind when you are writing the questions in the ChatGPT prompt box. Alright, let's talk about the examples of a prompt priming. So we will talk with 5 different examples of a prompt priming. The first one, we are talking about writing about sleep. So for an example, if you want to write about sleep, so you simply go ahead and put the question like, write about importance of sleep. The answer which you will get is very short, and with the priming, if you would write questions like, write a persuasive essay about importance of sleep for overall health using scientific evidence to support your arguments. And if you compare the without priming and with priming, the results are very different. Here, when we used priming, we talked about like health, scientific evidence. These are the priming words which we used, and we also used persuasive essay, so that it will write an essay so that it would include the overall health stuff and it would also use scientific evidence. That's how the priming you should target for when you are looking and writing. But without priming, we simply write about importance of sleep, and then ChatGPT or the chatbot will give answers based on whatever it finds suitable or randomness, whatever it clicks. So you will get random answers because it's open-ended question. However, with priming, it was not. It is open-ended, but it has to include some scientific evidence, and it has to keep in mind the importance of our overall health. Likewise, let's move to the next question. Okay, now let's talk about the next example, number 2, and here we are going to talk about the photosynthesis. In the photosynthesis, this is more relevant for the students if you are using a ChatGPT to understand and learn the concepts, and I have chosen the word here, the photosynthesis. So if you would simply go ahead and write, how does photosynthesis work? This is an open-ended question, and you will get the answer as open-ended answer. Though the term photosynthesis work is scientific, you will get the short, but you will not get all the other details like a chlorophyll and the conversion of the sunlight chemicals like that. But if I would use the word with priming, I will get more detailed answer, and that would give me the details which I wanted. For an example, I'll write, explain the process of a photosynthesis in plants, focusing on the role of a chlorophyll and conversion of sunlight into chemical energy. Now, if you see this question itself, it has a lot more details and priming information. Along with the process of photosynthesis in plants, I have said focus on the role of a chlorophyll and the conversion of a sunlight into chemical energy. In order to write that question, I need to have a basic understanding, but here with this understanding, if I'm writing it, my answer would be very detailed. So see the details, compare the open-ended one without priming, and with priming you see the different details in the answer itself. Alright, now it's time to move to the third example. The third example is on the writing the story, or if you're working on generating creative content. And let's say you are asking Chatbot to write about story on a journey. So I will write a story about a journey. This is without priming. The ChatGPT is clueless which journey, what should I include, what I should not include. It will pick up the story and it will write it for you. That's what it will do. And with the priming, I am just now saying, write a short story about a young explorer's journey through mysterious forest, incorporating elements of suspense and adventure. So I have given here the lot of primings, like the explorer is a young, journey is through mysterious forest, and also incorporate some suspense and adventure in it. And based on that, it will write this story for me. Now you can see the previous one and the newer one with priming, without priming, and you can differentiate the answers it wrote. And of course, every time when we are using the without priming, with priming, there are certain things which ChatGPT misses. Sometimes we miss to give the proper clue and priming information. We adjust and then we can write it again. As you will do and practice more and more, your writing the prompts in the chatbot with the priming information become better also. Alright, now let's move to the fourth example. The example is about from the technology, like technical explanation. And in the technical explanation, if you see, I have wrote the question is describe machine language. It's very open-ended, but it will describe about the machine language because it has a certain way to describe it. But how much, how lengthy, how detailed, that would depend on the model writing the answers. With priming now, you see, I'm writing here like provide a comprehensive overview of machine learning, including its types, applications, and the key algorithm used in the field. So I have given the details, the priming information about I need a comprehensive overview. Along with that, I need types, applications, and the key algorithms used in the field. So applications and along with the key algorithms. Compare the without priming and with priming, you would see huge difference in the answer itself. And likewise, the fifth one, we move forward about providing the instructions. So the question is how to bake a cake. That's an open-ended question. Everyone has different ways to bake a cake. So if I would ask that, the ChatGPT will give me the open-ended answer. It will pick any recipe. But now with priming I'm writing, write a step-by-step guide on how to bake a chocolate cake, including a list of ingredients, preparations, tips, and baking instructions. Now this is more precise and about the instructions of which kind of a cake I'm making. It would also list the ingredients and preparation tips and also how to bake, the baking instructions. So you can see the difference when I am writing the with priming and without priming, answers are drastically different. So in conclusion, I can say the prompt priming is a powerful technique that enhances the performance of a language models, making them more effective in generating relevant, accurate, and coherent responses. By providing the clear contextual instructions, you can always get the better result, and you can leverage the full potential of these models to meet your specific needs and requirement, so that you don't have to scroll through each answer again and again. 1 or 2 iterations, you will get the better or desired result from the language model. If you will keep asking the open-ended questions, eventually you will refine, but in between you will lose much of time. So stop using the open-ended question, ask specific questions, and then tweak it and be better with the priming so that answers will be much better. That's all about this video, wherein we talked about the priming concepts, wherein we ran through the examples and we saw how the results were different. So that was the learning I wanted to share with everyone, so that you can also be better, save your time, and use with the full potential these chatbots. Have a good day. Thank you for watching this video so far, and please like and subscribe my video so that I get encouraged to make many videos like this. Thank you, take care, and have a good day.